Friends, in this video we are detailedly study about the direct torque control scheme of your electrical drives. So let's begin. So friends, first of all we can understand what are the different control techniques in concern with your electrical drives. These control techniques we call it as the that is advanced control scheme. So these are the different advanced control scheme. So friends, as we know that in industry we are using different types of induction motor. So as we know that the use of the induction motor will be industry very large. For the speed control of your induction motor we are using, obviously that will be the VFD drive, while we call it as VFD. So it is a variable frequency drive. So variable frequency drive, so if you want to use that is variable frequency drive for a particular application of the speed control of your induction motor, so we are using some of the technology with the help of the sensor or without sensor. We call it as a sensorless technology for the speed control methodology of your induction motor. Basically, a VFD with sensor and sensorless control, we call it as an advanced control scheme for your electrical drives. And for sake of that, the VFD speed control technique will be divided into two parts. So the first part will be called it as the scalar control, because this will be one of the advanced control scheme of your electrical drive. So in a scalar control, friends, we are getting the ratio that is called as V by F. So V is a voltage and F is a frequency. So if you want to get the value of the flux should be constant, that time we want to get the value that is V by F ratio maintain constant. So this will be the simple fundamental thing in which we can control the value of the V by F ratio, that is voltage per hertz. So this control technique will be called it as the scalar control technique. Okay, so this will be the first type, and the second type of technique will be called it as the vector control. So in vector control technique we are converting the value of your phase quantity, that is A, B, C phase quantities are converted into direct axis and quadrature axis. This is basically rotating frame reference quantities by means of different two types of controller. So first one type of controller which is called as direct control scheme, we call it as DTC. So this direct control scheme will be again divided into two types. So first one is called as DSC. So DSC means what? It is direct self control, and second method which will be called it as SVM. It will be called it as the space vector modulation. Okay. So this will be the classification of the vector control which is called as DTC. And in that particular bit, now we want to understand what do we mean by the direct torque control. Basically, direct torque control, it is one of the type of the vector control technique. So in the vector control technique, we are converting that the ABC quantity into a direct and quadrature axis component. So now we can understand the detailed concept of the DTC. So along with that, the DCT, there are different second method of the vector control which is called as FOC, that is field orientation control technique. So that is FOC will be again divided into two types. First one it is called as direct FOC, that is direct field oriented control, and second one will be the indirect field oriented control. So friends, in this video we are detailedly study about the vector control technique which will be very popular in the industry for your induction motor, and this is called as the direct torque control. Okay, so friends, now we can understand the detailed working principle or detailed working of your direct torque control scheme of your induction motor. So let's begin. So friends, first of all we can understand what will be the basic block diagram of the direct torque control. So the name itself indicates its meaning. So the direct torque control means what? We are directly control the value of your torque of your induction motor. So friends, then the next concept will be again coming to mind. Basically, how we can control the value of the torque of your induction motor. So obviously friends, as shown in figure, as we know that while we control the value of the torque of your induction motor, indirectly we want to control the value of your speed control strategy, because in the closed loop speed control strategy of your induction motor or electrical drive, that we had get the different relationship of the speed control loop. So in concern with the basic block diagram of your direct torque control, we can directly control the torque of your induction motor by the controlling of the speed control loop. So this will be the basic block. So in that particular block, as we seen that the first block will be called it as the speed control loop. So as we know that in speed control loop there are different types of loop. Should we call it as the current limit control loop, or we call it as the CLC loop for the controlling of the speed of your induction motor. So after that, we can getting this speed quantity into your torque control loop. So by means of that particular directly torque control loop, we are directly control the value of this torque by means of the sensing of the three-phase induction motor voltage and current. So by means of that, the sensing of the voltage and current, directly one can control the value of your induction motor's torque. So such a type of a vector control technique will be called it as the direct torque control. So friends, this will be the basic block. Now we can understand the detailed understanding of the direct torque control. So friends, as we know that in a direct torque control, basically this method will be used for the variable frequency drive to control the torque of three-phase electric motor, because at the time of the starting we had already discussed these all speed control technique are basically associated with your VFD drive, because for induction motor we are using the variable frequency drive, and by means of that particular direct torque control scheme, in that particular we want to control the speed of your induction motor by means of your VFD drive. So in VFD drive we are using the advanced control scheme, that is DTC, that is direct torque control. So friends, this will be the first thing. Then the second thing is that in that particular the system of the direct torque control, we can basically calculating the estimate of your motor magnetic flux and the torque based upon the voltage and current of your motor. So as we know that friends, that we had already discussed, the name itself indicates it is a direct torque control. So by means of the sensing of the value of your voltage and current, we can control directly the value of your torque as well as the flux, because as concerned with the induction motor, while we are getting the value, as we know that in V by F control scheme we want to maintain a ratio, that is flux should be the constant. So by means of that particular direct torque control, we are getting the direct torque quantity, and along with that we want to control the motor's magnetic flux by means of the changing of its voltage and current. So this will be the very important thing. So after that, the last and very important concept in concern with the direct torque control is that in direct torque control, we are basically what we are doing. We are directly changing the appropriate state of your inverter. So if you are changing the appropriate state of your inverter circuit by means of the changing of the its different values of states, so we can directly control the value of the stator flux as well as the torque. So this will be the basic fundamental thing in concern with direct torque control. Okay, so how we can understand how we can change the state of your inverter circuit. So this will be very important. And so friend, in direct torque control, so it is possible to control directly the stator flux and the torque by selecting the appropriate inverter state. So basically in appropriate inverting state, we are just controlling the value of your switches, which we call it as, if we are using the inverter circuit, so obviously we can control the value of its thyristor. So we call it as the switch number S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6, and by the changing of the state of that particular inverter circuit, we can control directly the change in torque. So by means of that, we can get the value of the direct control scheme, or we call it as direct torque control scheme of your induction motor. So friends, now we can understand what will be the basic fundamental principle. So friends, the fundamental principle of your direct torque control scheme is very simple. So what will be the basically simple principle of your direct torque control is that in DTC, the directly select the stator voltage, and we are directly selecting the value of your stator voltage vector according to the torque and flux errors, which are the differences between the reference of your torque and stator flux and their estimated value. So friends, now we can understand this principle by using a detailed block diagram. So that will be the very easy for the understanding. And the second part, and the optimal voltage vector for the switching of the VSI is basically selected from a 6 non-zero voltage vectors and 2 zero voltage vectors by hysteresis control of your stator flux and torque. So this will be the very basic and fundamental principle of your DTC scheme. So this is direct torque control, friends. You have to understand only basic two parameters in concern with that. That will, the first parameter will be called it as, we can directly select the value of the stator voltage vectors. Okay, So we are directly selecting the value of your stator voltage vector according to the torque and flux error. Means friends, we are getting the value of your torque and flux error by means of the directly selecting the stator voltage vector. That will be the very basic fundamental thing. And from that we are getting the value of the voltage vector scheme. We are getting the VSI is selected from 6 non-zero voltage vectors and basically 2 zero vectors. And basically that the whole control scheme will be controlled by the hysteresis control, and that will be the control of the hysteresis control by means of the stator flux and torque. So that will be the very basic and fundamental working principle of your DTC scheme. So friends, now we can understand this whole principle by means of the simple block diagram. So in a simple block diagram, here is the induction motor. So it will be a induction motor. Okay. So in induction motor, now we are sensing the speed by means of your sensor. That is, we are using some of the tachometer. So by means of that, the speed sensing of your induction motor by using of your sensor, and this will be the omega. That will be the sensed speed. So this induction motor will be basically controlled by means of your VSI. So it will be VSI will be treated as a voltage source inverter. So it is voltage source inverter of your induction motor. So from VSI to the induction motor, the different values of your reference voltages and current. So we are getting these values of basic reference voltage and currents. So these values of your voltage, reference value and currents. So basically, as we know that basically we are getting the value of this voltage and currents. Now it will be converted into the torque and flux estimator. So these quantities are the reference quantities of your induction motor. Now we are giving this input to your torque and flux estimator. So this will be the block in which we can get the value of your flux and torque in concern with your the stator value of your induction motor, because as we know that this is the voltage source inverter will be connected to this the stator part of your induction motor. So stator part, in stator part we are having basically the stator voltage, that is voltage and current, and from that particular voltage and current value we are getting value of the torque and flux, because as we know that the current will be responsible for the production of flux, and the voltage along with the current value which will be responsible for the production of your torque. Okay, so this reference value or the value of your speed, now we are given this value of your speed block to control scheme of your torque control. So before we going to that control, we are using one loop here, and that the loop which is called as the speed control loop. So this is the speed control loop, because while we are selecting the reference value of your speed, that the reference value of your speed, now we want to give one to your torque control loop. So we are giving the basic fundamental reference speed of your induction motor to your speed control loop. So basically, while we are getting the value from the reference voltage and current, we are that the converting this value into torque and flux estimator, and from that particular torque and flux estimator, now we are giving the input to your first quantity which is called as TE, where TE is called as the unit vector of that particular torque. Okay, so this will be the actual reference torque value, that is TE star, and we are giving the value which is from the torque and flux estimator to this summing point. So by means of that particular summing point, we are generating the value of the torque error, and now we are giving this the torque error to your loop control. We call it as the torque controller loop. So we are giving the input to that particular torque controller loop. So basically in concern with that the torque controller loop, torque loop, we are generating the value that is called as the direct success component, or we call it as the rate of change of that particular torque, that is DTE. So according to that, the value of DTE is now giving to your switching table of your inverter, or we call it as the state of inverter. Okay, so in state of inverter, what we are getting, we are just getting the different states of your inverter circuit. So the states may be, call it as the state number S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6. Okay, so depending upon that, we are getting the value of your SA, SB, SC, because SA, SB, SC, because as we know that in concern with the three-phase voltage source inverter, we are using the three-leg or three-phase supply. So the switching of that particular or the actual value of that particular switch will be treated as SA. So this will be the SB, SC. So it is SA, so it is SB and SC. This will be represented by this circuit. Now by the changing of the switching table or the state inverter circuit of your voltage source inverter, we are giving the input to your VSI, and depending upon that, the VSI will control the speed of your induction motor by means of the direct torque control loop. So similarly friends, this is the basic fundamental thing in concern with your induction motor. We call it as the direct torque control scheme. So friends, again in torque and flux estimator, we are giving the first input to your torque. Similarly, we are giving the second input, which will be called it as the flux, which will be called it as the flux density, that is psi. So this will be the reference value of your psi, that is magnetic flux density. This will be the summing point. So in that particular summing point, we are giving the reference value from your torque and flux estimator. Basically, we are calculating the value of this torque and flux by the using of the stator quantities or the stator value of your induction motors voltage and current. So by means of that, we are getting the value of the flux density. So by means of that particular summing point, we are generating the error value of your magnetic flux. We call it as psi, that is magnetic flux density. And by using of the, that is a flux control loop, we can generate the value of the d psi. So this d psi value will be again given to you for a switching table, that will be called it as the state inverter circuit. So in again that particular state inverter circuit, there are a different state which will be called as S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6 states are there. So by means of that, we can control the value of that the three phase, which will be SA, SP, and SC. And now we are giving the supply to your VSI. So this VSI will again convert or change the speed of your induction according to the switching table of your different state inverter circuit of your symbol. Okay, so this will be the actual working principle of your direct vector control scheme of your induction motor. I think everyone has got clear idea. So for sake of understanding, again I can tell you in a simple way. So in direct torque control, we are directly control the value of your torque. Means by means of that the induction motor speed control loop. Now we are giving the input to your speed control loop. So from speed control loop, we are giving the input to your torque control loop. So basically from the stator voltage of your induction motor, we are getting the value, that is the torque and flux value, which will be calculated by the torque and flux estimator. Now we are giving the directly value, the reference value of your torque to the summing point. So from that particular point, we can generate the value of the error torque. This error torque will be given to your torque loop, and depending upon the torque loop, it will select state of your inverter by means of the switching table, and according to the inverter state of the switching table, we can generate the three phase voltage that will be given to your VSI. So depending upon that, we can control the speed of your induction motor by means of your direct vector control scheme. So this will be the actual understanding and basic concept of your direct vector control, or we call it as direct torque control scheme of your induction motor. Okay, so now friends, we can understand again this principle while taking one of the example, and basically that the example will be powered by the ABB company. Now we can get the actual concept. So friends, as shown in figure, this will be the three phase supply. We call it as R, Y, and B. That is the main supply which will be given to a rectifier. So this rectifier will convert that the alternating current supply into direct current supply by means of the different power electronic devices. Such devices may be diode or maybe thyristor, so depending upon our requirement. So that the AC supply will be converted into DC supply by means of this rectifier circuit. So this will be the DC supply. So by using the pi filter, we can purify this DC supply, and now we are giving the purely DC supply to your inverter circuit. So in that particular inverter circuit, as we know that the inverter is a device which will convert that the DC supply into AC supply, and now this AC supply will be given to your induction motor. So friends, this will be the three phase induction motor for which we can using this direct vector control scheme. So friends, as shown in figure, we can get the reference values of these voltages and currents. So as we seen that, so this will be the value of your motor current, that will be the given by this quantity, and this quantity. Basically your voltage, this will be the current quantities, and we're getting the value of your voltage. So this will be the basically voltage quantity of your induction motor. So this will be the current, and this will be the voltage. Okay, so by means of that particular voltage and current quantity, we are using the adaptive motor mode control, or we call it as the state estimator. So from the value of that particular state estimator, we call it as adaptive motor model control technique. We are getting the reference value to your torque and flux control. So friends, as shown in figure, we are giving the input to first block for your torque control strategy, and the second input now we are giving to your flux control strategy. Okay, so friends, as shown in figure, now we want to basically sense the speed. So we are sensing the speed by means of this initial reference axis. So now we can sense the value of your motor. We call it as the actual speed of your motor. Now we can given that the value of the actual speed of your motor to that particular summing point. So basically in concern with that, the summing point, the speed reference value that we are given, and the speed from your induction motor, that will be sensed by means of your sensor. So we are getting, or we are giving this speed to your PID. So it is a proportional, integral and derivative controller. So by using of that PID controller, we can control the directly value, that will be the speed control loop into your torque quantity. So as shown in figure, we are getting the torque control strategy here, or we call it as a torque controller loop. So in that particular torque controller loop, again we are giving the reference torque to that particular loop. So we are giving the basically reference torque to that particular loop, and by means of that particular torque control loop, we are giving the input or the output of your torque controller to your torque and flux controller strategy. And from that particular torque and flux control strategy, we are generating some of the control signal, and these control signals are bidirectional in nature. So along with that, the generation of the control signal, now we can select the value of the optimum pulse selector. So in that particular optimum pulse selector, we can select the state of your inverter circuit. So this will be the showing the state of the inverter circuit, that will be called it as the switch position command. We call it as the switch position command. So along with that, while we are selecting the optimum value of the pulse selector circuit, we are giving the input to your inverter circuit. So according to the optimum pulse selector circuit, we can control the inverter circuits different phase selector switch, or we can control the different state of your inverter circuit. And if we are controlling the value of the state of the inverter circuit, we can control the speed of induction motor by means of the, or we can control the torque of your induction motor in presence of the torque control loop. Okay, so similarly, if you want to control the flux control, because as we know that in concern with the speed control strategy of your induction motor, if you want to get the vector control strategy, means we are converting the stationary, or we call it as we are converting the phase quantity of the ABC into a direct and quadrature axis component. So the direct axis component will be responsible for the production of flux, and the quadrature axis component will be responsible for the production of your torque. So as we know that if you want to get the value of the flux control, so we are getting the flux braking circuit, which will be on and off condition. Similarly, we are giving the input, which will be called it as energy optimizing switch. So we are giving these two inputs to your very important block, as we call it as the flux reference control block. So in flux control reference block, we are giving the value of your flux, that is called as u, with respect to time t, or we call it as with respect to time t. So along with that, we can control the value of your flux, and by the controlling of this value of your flux, we are giving this input to your torque and flux controller. So by means of that controlling the directly flux control or directly torque controller, we can select the value of your optimum pulse selector. So friends, in this way, we can control, that is DTC. So friends, in that particular scheme, very important, that is direct or control loop will be working look like in that particular manner. So very important parameter, that is torque and flux control scheme, and optimum pulse selector, means while we are selecting the state of that particular inverter circuit by the using of the optimum pulse selector switch, we can control the direct torque control of your induction motor. I think everyone has got the clear understanding of direct torque control, and basically this figure will be powered by the ABB. Okay, so this will be the actual industrial example of your induction motor drive. Friends, basically in that particular circuit, we are getting very important term that will be the understanding of the SA, SB and SC. So what are these SA, SB and SC? So I can show you here. So these are the switches which we call it as SA, SB and SC. So basically now I can show you what do I mean by the SA, SB and SC by using these different switches. So friends, as shown in figure, this will be the inverter circuit of your induction motor. So in inverter circuit of your induction motor, now we can divide the value of your voltages, because inverter circuit will be convert that the DC voltage supply into a AC supply voltage. So this will be the DC supply, and from that particular DC supply we are generating the AC supply, and now this AC supply will be given to your three-phase induction motor. So friends, in that particular motor we are using the 6 number of different thyristor, which will be called it as thyristor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and we are getting the output voltage, or we call it as we are getting the selector switch in between 1 and 0, that will be called it as SA position, that will be the first switch. So from that we are generating one phase component, that is AC phase. Now we call it as a phase R. So similarly we are getting from the second selector switch, that is SB, and this will be the second phase of your induction motor, we call it as Y phase. And from the switch selector, which we call it as SC, we call it as a third switch. Okay, so from that particular we are getting the third, that is B phase. So we are getting R by B phase by the appropriate position of this particular switch. If the switch position is 1, then obviously depending upon the selector switch of your position number 1, we are getting the different outputs according to SA, SB and SC. Now we can understand, this will be the simplified three-phase VSI circuit. Now we can understand this whole working principle by means of the table. So friends, we can get the direct flux control first of all, and then we are moving towards the direct torque control. So first of all, we can understand what doing the direct flux control. So friends, obviously we are directly control the value of your flux by means of this control loop. So as shown in figure, friends, we are getting the direct axis and quadrature axis component. So we are getting, this will be the DS, will be call it as a direct axis component, and this will be the QS is the quadrature axis component. So we are getting different values of your switches, that is S1, this is S2, this is S3, this is S4, this is S5, this will be the position, we called it as S6 because we are using 6 switches, and these are the non-zero quantities. So in that, friends, we are getting the value, first of all we are getting the value of the flux, because it is a flux control. So we are getting the value of your phi r star. So we are getting this value, that will be the psi r. Okay, and now we want to get the value of the stator flux, because as concerning the direct flux control, we are changing value of the flux quantity in concern with your stator circuit. So friends, in stator circuit, now we are giving the input at point A. So friends, as shown in figure, we are giving the input to the point A, which will be the basically psi s, because in concern with the direct flux control, we are controlling the value of the stator flux. So as shown in figure, the direct flux control, this is the circular trajectory of the stator flux. So first of all, this flux will be moving to A to point B. So this will be the point B of your direct flux control. So in that particular direct flux control, we are getting the value of voltage. We call it as voltage, that is V1, that is del into time respect to, we call it as T1. So friends, in that particular figure, now we are moving towards the point A to B, that will be the circular trajectory of the stator flux. So now the point will be moved toward the point C. So in that particular, while the point will be moved toward the point C, we are getting the value of the voltage, that is stator voltage, that is V2 into del T2. So it will be the time with respect to time T2. So again, the value of your stator flux will be moving towards point C to D. So while the value of your flux, that is the trajectory of your stator flux, will be moving to point C to D. So now this moving from C to D point, we are getting the value of your voltage vector, we call it as V3 with the time respect to, that is T3. So this will be the third strategy, and from that particular strategy, now the stator flux strategy will be again moved from the point D to E. This will be shown by this phasor. So in concern with that, while the stator flux will be changing, it will be shown by the voltage value, that is V4 into del into T4. So this will be the actual representation of the circular trajectory of the stator flux. So friends, we are simply in concern with the direct flux control, we are using, we can changing the different values of your stator flux quantity by means of, first of all, it will be moving from point A, as we said, point A to point B, now B to C, C to D, and D to E. That will be shown by a different color, so we can get the actual concept of this methodology. So now we are changing the value of your stator flux from point A to point B, now point B to C, then D, then E. So this will be the actual concept of your direct flux control scheme. So friends, in that particular direct flux control scheme, now we can understand what will be the selected value of your applied voltage vector. So friends, as shown in that particular table, we can getting the value of the state of your inverter circuit. So we are getting the state of your inverter circuit by means of different position. So what are the different position? So first of all, we can get the different position at a different phase quantity, that is SA, SB, and SC. It will be a selector switch. So when the state is 0, we are getting the output in concern with the SA, SB, and SC. So it is 0, 0, 0, and we are getting the voltage vector, that is V0. Okay. If the state of that particular applied voltage vector will be 1, so we are getting the output across the SA switch, that is 1, SB and SC we are getting 0, 0. That the voltage vector will be called it as the VA1. Similarly, if we are getting the state that is called as S3, or we call it as a second state, so we are getting the output of your SA and SP will be 1, 1, that will be called as high, and this will be the voltage selector value is V2. Suppose if you want to select the state, that is state number 3, so we are getting the value of the SA will be 0, the value of the SB will be 1, the value of the SC will be 0, and we are getting the voltage vector, that is V3. So if you want to change state, that is state number 4, so at the state number 4 we are getting the value of the SA, that should be 0, the value of the SB, that should be 1, and the value of the SC should be 1. So we are getting the vector, that is voltage vector, which is called as V4, as we see. Okay, so if you want to select the state number 5, we are getting the output across the SA0, the output across the SB0, and we are getting the output across SC will be 1. So we are getting the voltage vector quantity, that is V5. Similarly, if you want to select the state number 6, so we are getting the output of your SA1, SB0, and SC should be 1. So we are getting the voltage vector, that is called as V6. So similarly, if you want to select the state number 7, we are getting the output of your SA, that should be 1, SB, that should be 1, and SC, that should be 1. So this is called as V7. So friends, in this way we are getting total 6 number of non-zero vector quantity, and we are getting 2 zero vector quantity in concern with the selection of applied voltage vector scheme. So this will be in concern with your direct flux control. Okay, so now we are moving towards the direct torque control scheme. So in the direct torque control scheme, we are getting the output of your term in concern with the torque strategy. So obviously, if you are getting the value of the del TE, basically what do you mean by the del TE? So it is the incremental torque expression. We call it as del TE is called as a unit vector component of your torque, and that will be given by means of the simple phasor representation, or we call it as a rotating reference frame representation of your stator flux, rotor flux, and the stator current vectors in concern with DS and QS reference. So what do you mean by the DS and QS reference? It will be the rotating frame reference of your machine. We call it as induction motor machine. So as shown in figure, we are getting the value of the direct axis component. I can show this direct axis component, which we call it as the stator component, that is DS, and I can show you the value of your quadrature axis component, that will be the QS. Okay, so by means of that, we are getting the value of the stator current. So the value of that stator current will be IS, will be shown by this line. Similarly, if you want to get the value of your flux control by means of the changing of the rotor flux, we call it as a rotor flux density, that is psi r. We are getting this psi r by means of this reference vector. Similarly, if you want to get the value of the psi s, that is the stator flux quantity or the stator flux density component, which we call it as the psi r. So friends, we are getting from these two figure, we are getting the value of the third quantity by means of the angle, that is the psi s plus the change in the psi s. So this will be the basic term that we are using here. So I can show you the by means of this different quantities. So this phasor will be show you the value of your psi s plus change in the psi s by means of the changing of this quantity. So we are getting the angle which is called as gamma angle. So from that we are getting the value of, so this will be the first angle I can show you. So this will be the angle which is called as gamma, and this will be the change in the gamma angle because we are changing the value of this gamma angle by means of a small deviation. So from this we are getting the value of the del Te, where del Te is called as the incremental torque by which we can control direct torque of your three-phase induction motor by the changing of the different selector. So friends, in direct torque control, we are getting the incremental torque expression that is called as del Te is given by, according to the basic fundamental concept of your stator flux, rotor flux and stator vector control reference with the help of the rotating frame axis. So we are getting the value of the incremental torque expression, that is 3 by 2, that is 3 by 2 into P by 2. Okay, so basically this P is called as a number of pole and this would be Lm. I can write here. So Lm will be called it as a mutual inductance of your induction motor. So it is mutual inductance. The Ls is, or Ls dash, we call it as the basically stator inductance of your induction motor. Lr will be the rotor inductance of your induction motor. Then the psi r, we call it as flux density, that is psi r will be the, so the psi r will be the magnetic flux density of your rotor circuit. It will be the magnetic flux density of your rotor, and psi s will be the magnetic flux density of your stator circuit. We call it as magnetic flux density of your stator circuit. Okay, so this is psi s, and as we know that the gamma is the angle between the stator and rotor flux density. So this will be the gamma. We call it as the gamma, and we are getting the term of the incremental torque expression. We should be called it as the del Te is equal to 3 by 2 P by 2 Lm divided by Ls dash into Lr, that is a mod, or we call it as the magnitude, that is the psi r into psi s plus change in psi s into sine change in the sigma value. It will definitely give you the change in the flux will be responsible for basically the change in the Te, or we call it as the change in the incremental torque expression. So as shown in that particular figure, we said that it will be basically directly proportional to sine into change in the gamma angle. While we are changing the gamma angle, basically what do you mean by this gamma angle? It will be the angle between, basically it will be angle between, it will be the stator flux density and the rotor flux density. So while we are changing the value in concern with the stator flux and rotor flux density, we are controlling the value of the gamma angle, and if we are controlling the value of the gamma, we can control the torque of your induction motor. So this will be the direct torque control scheme of your induction machine. Okay, so this will be the basic concept. So friends, as we seen in that particular figure, now we can understand what will be the stator flux varies basically along with the direction of the applied voltage vector. The equation will be shown, because as we know that it will be the change in the stator voltage vector, that is the psi s, will be basically responsible for the changing in the voltage, that is Vs, with respect to time, that is change in time, that is del T. So in general, we can getting the different active forward voltages, we call it as Vs, that is k plus 1, and Vs k plus 2. So depending upon these vectors are basically active forward voltages vectors, are basically these voltage vectors are applied to increase or decrease the stator flux respectively when the stator flux lies in sector K. Suppose the active reverse voltages vectors, we call it as Vsk minus 1 and Vsk minus 2. So it is used to increase or decrease the stator flux in reverse direction. So friends, very simple component in concern with the voltage vectors. If you are using, that is Vk plus 1, Vsk plus 2, then obviously it will be a forward voltage vector, and if you are using, that is Vs k minus 1, Vs k minus 2, so it will be a reverse, or we call it as the voltage stator flux will be decreases in a reverse direction. So that will be the very fundamental concept. Now we can understand this variable fundamental concept with the help of very important concept, that is will be the inverter switching state vector, because as we seen in the basic block of your ABB scheme of your direct control scheme, so we are getting very important figure. I can show you with the help of the different colors, so we can get the concept. So we are getting this figure, friends, we are getting this figure, we can see the image of this figure. So now we can understand what will be the selector switch of that particular optimum pulse selector by means of this diagram. So now we are moving towards the very important concept, we call it as the inverter switching state vector, and this will be the representation of the inverter switching state vector. So as shown in figure, friends, we are getting the different values of your different position of your state vector. So now I can represent this state vector by means of the alpha and beta reference. So this will be the alpha reference and this will be the beta reference. Okay, so by means of that, if you are getting the voltage vector, that is V1, so the state of that particular voltage vector, that is 1 0 0, that we had already designed in concern with your selected applied voltage vector, that is called as V1. So along with that, we are getting the SA, SB and SC, that is 1 0 0. So the same quantities are available with the help of that the inverter switching state vector. So we are getting the first quantity in concern with the V1, we call it as V1, it is 1 0 0. At state, that is V2, that is 1 1 0, that we had already derived earlier. At the point, that is V3, that is 0 1 0, and at point 4 we are getting quantity, that is 0 1 1, that is V4. At point V5 we are getting, that is 0 0 1, and at V6 we are getting the sixth quantity, that is 1 0 1. So these are the different state of your inverter switching angle. So this will be called it as the first, we call it as first, this will be called it as second, this will be called it as third, this will be the 4, this will be the 5, and this will be the 6. So these are the 6, we call it as 6 non-zero vector, and 2 vectors are basically 0 vector. So these 2 vectors are be shown, that is V0 and V7. So the 6 non-zero vectors, which are they? So the 6 non-zero vectors are available for us. So I can write the 6 non-zero vector, that is V1, then V2, then V3, then V4, then V5 and V6. So these are the non-zero, and we are getting the zero vector, which that is V0 and V7, which will be represented at this point, we call it as V0 and V7. So these are the vector which is called as a zero vector of your selector switch. Okay, so this will be the actual inverter switching state vector of your induction motor by means of your direct torque control scheme. Okay, so now we are moving towards the very important concept, what will be the state or what will be the result of the change in flux and torque in concern with that particular quantity. So first of all, we can say the flux vector, so in the sector we call it as K. So flux vector is in sector K, so we can get is the representation by means of this direct and quadrature axis component. So as we know that this will be the direct axis component, this will be the quadrature axis component. So I can write for your understanding again, this will be the axis, which will be the quadrature axis, this will be the direct axis, this will be the direct axis. So by means of that, we are getting the reference values of your current. So this will be the reference value of your current, I can show here. and now I can show the value of your voltage with the help of the different color. So I can show you the value of your voltage vector, that is with the stator voltage vector, by means of this with the Vs. Okay, so we can get this term. So now we can change the value of the Vs. So this will be the first position of your Vs, this will be the second position, this will be the third position, this will be the fourth position, this will be the fifth position, and this will be the sixth position. And basically this will be the 0, or we call it as V0 and V7. So these are the 6 non-zero position. So now we can understand what should be the value of your the application of the active forward voltages vectors in concern with the different position. So we can get the value of the active voltage vectors, that is in a forward direction. So we are getting the term that is Vs k plus 1. So at that particular vector we are basically increasing the value of the psi s. So psi is called as the stator flux. So at that the position number Vs k plus 1 means at the position number 2 we are increasing the value of the psi s. So similarly the increasing value of your torque. So the resultant torque we call it as a unit vector representation of torque will be increased. So this will be represented by this equation. Okay. Similarly, again we can increase the value of the stator voltage vectors by Vs k plus 2. So we are getting Vs k plus 2. So the value of your k plus 2, that is we are getting the term that is at the position number Vs3. This will be shown by its vector quantity, that is the voltage vector quantity. So we are getting the term the psi s will be decreased, so that is the magnetic flux density will be decreased, and at that time the value of the torque will be increased by means of that particular vector representation or vector selector switch. So this is for your forward voltage vector. So these are the volt terms which will be represented. I can write this with the help of the different color. So again we can get the very important concept in concern with that. So this will be the forward direction. So it will be a forward. Now we basically apply voltage in reverse voltage vector. So now I can write with the help of the different color. So we can again understand the concept. So friends, this is the forward. Now we can understand this with the help of the reverse. So in reverse direction, what will happen? The value of your Vs, that is the stator voltage quantity, it is Vs k minus 1. So at that particular point, we are getting the value of your psi s. So we are getting the value of your psi s will be reduced, and the value of your torque will be reduced. So this will be represented by this quantity, because basically we are getting the value of Vs. So this will be the sixth quantity first of all we can getting. So we are getting that is the psi s and Te will be reduced. So this will we are getting this expression, and when we are using that is Vs k minus 1. So basically this is Vs k minus 2. In that particular value of your psi s will be increasing, and the value of your Te, that is unit torque vector, will be decreasing. So this will be the represented by this basic very fundamental. So in that particular as shown in figure, we are getting the different voltage vectors while we are using for your forward direction. So we are getting first term, that will be the psi s and Te will be increased, and again we are increasing the value in concern with the voltage vector, that is Bsk plus 2. Again the value of the psi will be decreased, that is psi s will be decreased, and the value of your torque will be increased. So this is for your forward voltage vector. In reverse voltage vector, when we are reducing the value, that is Vsk minus 1, at that time the value of your psi s, that is the flux density with respect to your stator circuit, will be increased, but basically the value of your torque will be decreased. So while we are changing the value, that is Vs k minus 2 in the reverse voltage vector, so the value of your psi s, that is the flux, that is magnetic flux density, will be reduced, and similarly the value of your torque will be reduced. So these are the different selector switch, or we call it as voltage vector, of your direct torque control scheme of your induction motor. Okay, so now friends, we can understand what will be the switching selection for that particular flux hysteresis control, because as we know that in concern with the basic fundamental principle of your torque control, we want to get the hysteresis controller loop. So basically we are getting the two quantities, first quantity which is called as flux, and second quantity which is called as torque. So we want to understand these whole quantities in concern with the hysteresis controller loop. So for the sake of that, now we want to select the switching selection of your inverter circuit. So for sake of that, now we can understand the basic concept, which we call it as the magnetic flux density point. So in that particular image, I can show you. So H psi, it is the basically hysteresis component of your flux, that will be the 1. At that time, E psi is greater than positive value of H B psi, or we call it as when the H psi is equal to 1. When H psi is equal to -1, at that time the value of your E psi will be less than minus HB psi. So this is basically for the flux hysteresis controller loop. Similarly, if you want to control the torque hysteresis controller loop, so at that time we are controlling the value of the torque with respect to your magnetic flux, or we call it as H, that is we call it as hysteresis control loop. So at the time of the HTE is equal to 1, so at that time the value of HTE should be greater than the positive value of HBTE, and when value of the HTE should be -1, so at that time the value of ETE will be less than minus HBTE. So these are the basic switching selection, basic fundamental in concern with your torque hysteresis control. So friends, now we can form one tabular representation. So this is be for your flux controller, that is hysteresis flux controller, and this is for your hysteresis torque controller. So friends, as shown in figure, I can get when the value of your H psi, that is called as hysteresis flux, the value of your H psi should be 1. So at the time of the HTE should be 1. So at that time the S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6 will give you the voltage vectors, or we call it as a selector switch, that is why S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6 will give you the voltage vector, that is V2, V3, V4, V5, V6 and V1 in that particular phase sequence. Okay, so if the value of H psi will be 1, the value of HT should be 0. At that time the switch number S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6 will give you, that is V7, V0, V7, V0, V7, V0, because this will be the value of your 0 state. And if the value of the SI will be 1 and the HT value is -1, so we are getting the phase sequence in that will be the V6, that is a voltage selector switch, that is V6, V1, V2, V3, V5 and V5. So in this way we can understand if we are changing the value of the H psi, so in concern with the hysteresis current control loop of your flux quantity and the torque quantity, we can change the different selector switch. So this will be the fundamental selection, that is the switching selection of your different switches. Similarly, we are getting the value of the SI will be -1. So at that time, the value of your HT will be 1. So at that time, we can select the switch number S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, 6 along with the voltage vector, that is V3, V4, V5, V6, V1 and V2. So this will be the switching selection of your voltage vector. So if the value of the SI will be -1 and the value of your HTE will be 0. So again we are getting the 0 vector. So that is V0, V7, V0, V7, V0, V7 that we had already studied in that particular voltage vector quantity. Okay. Suppose the value of your HI will be -1 and the HTE will be -1. So we are getting the switching selection in manner of your switch number S1, S2, S3, S4, S5 and X6 look like that. That is V5, V6, V1, V2, V3 and V4. So this is the switching selection of your direct torque control scheme of your induction motor. So friends, after that we can understand what are the different features of your direct torque control technique. Basically friends, this direct torque control technique will be using the advanced control technique of your induction motor. So there are a lot of features. So the first feature is that in direct control, or we call it as direct torque control scheme, the direct stator flux control will be possible. Okay, so direct torque control and direct stator flux control will be possible by means of this direct torque control scheme. Okay, then the second feature of that particular direct torque control is that we are basically indirectly control the value of your stator current and stator voltage. Because friends, while we are studying the detailed block diagram of the direct torque control, we are getting the input from the stator quantities, that is the stator voltage and stator current from your induction motor, and by the using of these values of your stator voltage and currents, we are controlling the value of your torque. So friends, we are basically indirectly control the value of your stator currents and voltages by use of this direct torque control technique. So the third feature of that particular circuit will be look like that. It will be the approximately sinusoidal stator fluxes and the stator currents will be produced by means of this direct torque control scheme. So that will be the very important feature of your DTC. Along with that, we are getting the very high dynamic performance even at the locked rotor state, because as we know that in concern with your induction motor there are different states are there. One state will be call it as a locked rotor state. Even though it will be a locked rotor state, at that time this direct torque control technique will give you definitely high dynamic performance. So these are the some of the features of your direct torque control scheme. So friends, now we can move towards what are the different advantages of your direct torque control scheme. So as we studied that there are different parameters or the different features of the direct torque control scheme. So this direct torque control scheme will be very popular in a speed control loop of your induction motor. So the first advantage of the DTC will be that, so in the DTC there should be a absence of the coordinate transform, showing that the DTC control technique we are not transforming the different situation. So that will be the first advantage. And in second advantage of the direct torque control system is that in that particular direct torque control system, we are using or basically in DTC, the absence of voltage modular block as well as the controllers such as PID or flux or torque. So in DTC control, we are not using such type of controller, that is proportional, integral and derivative type of controller. Then the third advantage is that the minimal torque response time even better than the vector controller. So friends, as we know that why we are preferring the direct torque control in an industry, because it will give you minimum, or we call it as minimal torque response time. So the torque response time is very minimum, even better than the vector control. So that's why we are preferring direct torque control scheme for your advanced control scheme. Then the next advantage is the excellent torque linearity. So by means of the direct torque control, we can get the very excellent value of your torque linearity. So that will be the another advantage of your DTC. So the next advantage of your DTC, it is high static and dynamic speed accuracy, because as we have studied in the basic block, if you want to get the value of the direct torque control, so obviously we can control the value of your speed of your induction motor. So by means of that, we can getting the high static and dynamic speed accuracy of your drive. So these are the some of the advantages of your direct torque control. So after understanding of the different advantages, now we are moving towards what are the different disadvantages of your direct torque control scheme. So the first disadvantage of the direct torque control system is that it will create possibility problem during the starting, because at the time of the starting of your induction motor we cannot get the starting torque maximum. Suppose we are using the slippery induction motor, so at that time the starting torque should be very high. So one of the disadvantage is that at the time of the starting some of the problem will be occurs. That will be the first disadvantage. The second disadvantage is that the requirement of torque and a flux estimator is in that particular direct current, or we call it as a direct torque control loop. So implying the consequent parameter identification. So obviously in the torque and flux estimator, we want to sensing the value of the voltage and current. So this will be one of the disadvantage of your direct torque control, because in direct torque control, from the sensing of the stator voltage and current, now we can control the value of your torque and flux by the use of the torque and flux estimator. So this will be the second disadvantage. And the third disadvantage is that by the use of the DTC, that is direct current control loop, it will produce, which will be the ripples of the inherent characteristics of your torque and flux. So this will be the one of the disadvantage of your direct torque current, or we call it as a direct torque control loop of your induction motor. So in this way, friends, we have a detailed study about the direct torque control scheme of your induction motor drive. Thank you.